Okay, you guys are going to create a sports segment for me for my broadcast class. And at the very end of the day today, I want you to save it in your OneDrive. Save it as a PSD or Photoshop file. I need all of the layers. If you save as a JPEG, it flattens these, and I cannot use this the way I want to use it or the way it's intended to be used for broadcast. So you have to save it as a Photoshop file, and you have to save it in your OneDrive. You have to save it in your OneDrive. You have to save it as a Photoshop file. I can't be any more clear than that. Okay? And so let's go ahead and get started on how this is going to look. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on which time you have me during the day. Today's assignment is to create a sports background for the broadcast class, much like you did with the weather background that we used for the segment. And you're going to create a sports background. Time permitting, I want you to create a photo of the week background as well. This is an example of what you can do. Now, I don't want you to copy it. You can put Wilson up there. You get creative. But notice I've got all these layers over here to the side, and it gets rather lengthy. So I'm also going to teach you a new technique called grouping. And grouping, you can put different layers inside a group like I have right here. And I'm going to show you how that works real quick. In fact, if I collapse this, it makes it nice and tidy. I've got something inside of my group layer. Notice I have a spring layer as well, and you can create these groups. And to do that, you're just going to create a group. So I'm going to go up here to the top to where I have all my sports letters, and I'm just going to click right here, and I'm just going to say group. It's going to put a group up on top, and I'm just going to drop these inside. So I'm just going to click on that guy, go down to here, hold the shift key, click on here, and I'm just going to drag them into that group. And now they're in that group. And if I collapse that, it makes it much nice. It makes it tidy, and that's what I like. So I'm going to double click here to rename this. I'm just going to call this sports letters so I know what's inside there. Okay, so if I drop that down, I can check it out, and then I can make changes. So you've learned a new technique today by making groups and making things tidier. If you wanted to do my rectangles, you could do the same. Notice that I've named my rectangles. Rectangle bottom 6. It's probably this one. So if I turn this eyeball off, lo and behold, it is. If I rectangle bottom 1, if I turn that off, oh, it's that one over there. If I come down even further, I can say, oh, rectangle left, which one is that one? What's that guy? So you need to name your layers as well. And to do that, you're just going to click on them and then type in here what you want to call that, okay? Notice that if I go back up here to the top, I'm going to go to my fall, because volleyball's fall. And if I notice, I named a volleyball right here, and I turn the eyeball on, I turn these other two eyeballs off. But when I use this for the broadcast class, I can pick which one I want to show. So you're going to create the fall, the winter, and the spring logos and put them right here in the exact same spot, and put them in folders for me called fall, winter, and spring. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this from scratch. I'm just going to start new. Yours is going to look a little different than mine because I have an older version of Photoshop at home. So I'm going to go File, New, but you're going to open up Photoshop and you're going to create a new document. And the new document needs to be, for broadcast, it needs to be 16 wide by 9 high, and we're going to change these to inches. When I change this to inches, I think the top number is going to change. It does, so I need to go back here and change this. So it's going to be 16 inches wide by 9 inches. We're going to change the resolution to 300. Okay, you can leave everything else the same. So these are the 3 things you need to change when you customize it: is wide is 16, height is 9, resolution is 300. Lean on your neighbor if you need to get help with this. Click OK. It's going to give me a new background. You can design this however you want to. I want you to be creative. I just used a gradient. Remember, lean back on previous knowledge and previous experience on what I've taught you in the past. So I'm just going to go gradient. I just had these two colors picked down here. Where'd my mouse go? Right here. I had green and white. You can choose any colors you want to. If I want to change the white to, say, blue, which would look really funky, but we'll do that. And I'll go green and blue. And I come over here and I click and drag, and it's going to say, okay, and now I've got green and blue, which would be really weird. But hey, it changes back to white, and you can always go back in and change colors. I don't know why you picked green, but I did. The longer you drag this across, if you start from all the way to the left and go all the way to the right, it's going to be very gradual. But now I have green and green. I needed white. Let's try that again. So if I go the entire screen, it's going to go very gradual. If I start here in the middle, which is, I don't know where my mouse is, say right here, and I just go a little bit, it's going to make it really tight. So you decide on how you want to do that. I'm just going to go all the way across. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to create a rectangle by clicking on here. Click and drag and make a box. It's going to make whatever color I have in here. I can always go in and change that by clicking here and say, I want a red instead. I'm going to click red, and now it changes it to red. Remember the shortcut, if I hold the Option key down and make sure that I'm on the Move tool, and I hold the Option key down, and I drag over, I can duplicate that, right? Option again, and drag over, and I can move that. If you hold the Option Shift, it should do it straight. You can't try and move it up and down, but it's going to go straight across. Okay, so you do something like that. That's how you would do that. You guys know how to add text, by clicking in here. I can go right across the top here, and once I have this, I can type in R for RAM. If I wanted to move it around, I'm going to click on the Move tool, move it. I can adjust the size. To rename these, I click in here and I say, okay, this one happens to be rectangle 1, I believe it is. So I'm going to go rectangle 1, which is already named, but if I double click on here, I can say rectangle left. And notice I've got rectangle middle, and so on and so forth. This should be enough to get you guys started. If you have any questions, lean on a neighbor. Also remember about past experience on how you did this. Good luck, have fun. It's due Friday before you leave for class. If you have time, I want you to create a photo of the week similar to this. Again, the same size, 16:9. Get creative and have fun, because we want to start putting photo of the week in the broadcast as well. Hope that helps. Have a great day. And one last thing, for those of you that forgot how to import images into your file, I'm going to show you that real quick. I'm going to say File, Open, and I'm going to go find an image. We'll just pick this one for now. It's going to drop it in here. Oh, we're just going to say OK. Say Open Object. So it's going to open in Photoshop. Ignore what it just did, because that was Camera Raw. So we've got this. I'm going to grab the Move tool. I'm going to click on it and drag it up to my folder, or my file that I wanted. I'm still holding the mouse down. I bring it down. It drops it in here. I can resize it by going it's Command T. I'm going to hold the Shift key down, drag it smaller. I can move it around to where I want it. Once I like it, I'm going to hit the Enter key, and there I have it. So that's how you import your different fall, winter, and spring images, and you're going to put them in a folder. Hopefully that helps you as well. Talk to you later. Bye.